Happy Thursday out there, Team 42. It's your skipper here, Darius, to present our macro minute for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Hope everyone's having a great week. So, as always, we'll start with the executive summary from today's leadoff morning note. If you would like to review the analysis supporting these conclusions and to see if you need to make any changes in your portfolio to remain on the right side of market risk or to get on the right side of market risk to the extent you haven't been following KISS or Dr. Mo, you need to be a client of 42 Macro. So, today's key macro question is the U.S. government is shut down, ... Time to panic? Our answer, no. Our government may be shut down, but our team at 42 Macro is still hard at work for Team 42. Later today, we will publish our October 2025 macro scouting report to our exclusive global investor community. In the meantime, there were dozens of key high-frequency economic statistics released around the world that provided clues regarding the likely persistence of the current risk-on Goldilocks market regime. Unpacking the U.S. data, the weak positive impulse featured in the September auto sales data supported our resilient U.S. economy theme. As we predicted back in April when we authored the Paradigm C theme, persistent positive economic surprises continue to force upward revisions to consensus growth expectations for the U.S. economy. The August JOLTS data supported our labor hoarding thesis, while the September Conference Board consumer confidence data also reinforced that view. The same September consumer confidence data further supported our U-shaped economy thesis. The September ISM manufacturing PMI data supported our U-shaped economy thesis, though it did not support our sticky inflation theme. The decline to a well below trend level of 1.2 in the new orders inventory spread also reinforced our U-shaped economy thesis. And finally, the September ADP data supported our call for structural regime change at the Fed, as the lowest median annual pay growth for job changers since February of 2021 highlights the impact that AI may already be having on the labor market. All told, just because the U.S. government is asleep at the wheel again and not supplying investors with the full range of economic data does not mean investors should stop risk managing their portfolios. Hopefully, today's note was a friendly reminder that there are dozens of key high-frequency economic indicators providing clues to the direction of the economy and asset markets being reported each day. In fact, there were 70 today. It remains core to our fundamental research process to analyze all of them. This old-fashioned elbow grease remains one of our competitive advantages and is the reason 42 Macro has one of the best track records across all of global Wall Street since the inception of our firm in April 2021. And I have no qualms saying that because it is fact. Transitioning to our 42 Macro dashboard, as always, we wrap up with a question from our community. This one's not a question, it's a comment. I feel obligated to read it because it speaks volumes to what it is we're accomplishing for the members of Team 42 here inside of our paywall. So this one's titled, "The Masses Are Catching On." It says, "Hi, Darius, you're ahead of the curve." No surprise there. Thank you for the kind compliment. Been a subscriber for about a year, and after years of underperformance, I'm having my best year yet, up over 20% year to date. Can't thank you enough for the work you do in helping the schmucks like us. You're not a schmuck, man. You're somebody who's outperforming most hedge funds this year, so congratulations. It's incredible. Not much else to say. This article is behind a paywall. Not sure who in their right mind would ever pay subscription. Sorry, CBC. Yeah, that's just reading the quote. But you get the gist. And so let me just click on this link here. What's the title of the retail investor crowd has a new trade it is chasing. It's fueling Bitcoin and gold rallies. And I think that new trade it's chasing is called KISS. So if you, to the extent you guys haven't, you've been sleeping under a very comfortable rock, just go to our website and 42macro.com/KISS funnel portfolio. We can get all the insights you need in terms of this tool that we built, this sophisticated risk management overlay that we built to help retail investors retire on time and comfortably. Simple and effective, systematic risk management, far superior long-term performance, especially when you compare it to anything like a 60-40 portfolio, which so many investment advisors around the world have their clients in, or the innovation of the 70-30 or something like that. So, we'll wrap it up there. I think the key takeaway from this today's note and today's compliment today was, really just to highlight, the differentiated nature with what we do. I don't know anybody that analyzes every single key high and low frequency economic statistic coming out of every major economy every single day. That is an absurd activity in the context of, the TLDR nature with which the world is kind of moving to. And in my opinion, it's been one of my competitive advantages throughout my career. I started it because I was the runt on the team, this is almost 17 years ago. I was the runt on the team, and I just had to be the guy counting all the data. And I know that process never left me. And the reason that process never left me, because I realized that nobody else was doing it. And it was providing me such a competitive edge in terms of actually staying close to the vanguard of what was happening in the economy. And ultimately, what was happening in the economy, obviously, is highly correlated to what happens in asset markets. And so it's not unlike being a analyst or a PM at a hedge fund that has to track and model all the company earnings reports in every earnings season. That's a painful process as well. Those guys are at their jobs, at their desks. We have clients emailing me at midnight during earnings season. I'm just like, I get it. I've been there. It's a little bit different in macro because all the data comes out in the morning, generally speaking, but it's the same grind. It's the same rigor. What we do here at 42 Macro, you're going to see across global Wall Street, many of the top buy side institutions across global Wall Street, many of whom are our clients, by the way. And so, what we do here is very different. This is not some guy sitting here telling stories about macro. This is quantitative, systematic macro risk management that many of the top funds on global Wall Street subscribe to and employ in terms of helping them stay on the right side of market risk. And we're really grateful and blessed that we built a firm that also allows quote unquote schmucks like our friend here to outperform as well. And so, and obviously, I don't believe anybody here is a schmuck. These are some of the smartest investors. This is one of the smartest investor communities in the world. Why? Well, one, the track record. These guys are all consistently outperforming the average hedge fund. And two, the amount of insight and intellect and thoughtful discourse that occurs here in this community is just, it's one of the things I'm most proud of in my entire life. I'm more proud about the interactions, the kind, thoughtful interactions we have in our community than I am about the outcomes that KISS and Dr. Mo are delivering to our client accounts. And we obviously know how awesome those outcomes are. So that should give you a little bit of an indication of how awesome this community really is. And so super grateful for that. Really thoughtful, or sorry, really appreciative. And I'll stop rambling and let you guys go. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. I'm actually going to be offline starting tomorrow and next week. Going to go visit some family back home for Seattle. Got the big game on Sunday, 50th anniversary game for the Seahawks and Bucks. So we're going to have all the 50 greatest Seahawks there. I'm going to be on the sideline for that. So super excited to meet some of my heroes and spend some time with my family. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning into these every day, and we will catch you back here when I catch you. Cheers.